Let's get into it. Coach Colin here. A message from your valiant Indian and sometimes black, when the opportunity arises, Vice President Kamala Harris.
A lot of the signs at the rally you just held were people standing there saying, abolish ICE.
Yeah.
Is that a position that you agree with?
Listen, I think there's no question that we've got to critically re-examine ICE and its role and the way that it is being administered and the work it is doing. And we need to probably think about starting from scratch, because there's a lot that is wrong with the way that it's conducting itself, and we need to deal with that.
A lot of the signs at the rally you just held were people standing
Abolish ICE. Why would she even entertain that? It's a necessary entity. It needs to be there. It has a very good function. It keeps people safe, and it keeps people law-abiding, and it gives people consequence when they violate the law of the United States of America. When you come into a country illegally, your first step in, you have committed a crime. It's this goes without saying. Why would they want to get rid of it? Why would she even entertain that conversation? Why are people on the left talking about people need a path to citizenship? And they're not talking about the people who come legally. They're talking about the people who come illegally. People need a path to citizenship. They really need a path to citizenship. These 15 million people need a path to citizenship, when some of them aren't even telling you the truth about who they are. Do you know how crazy that is? Listen. Let's just jump to the content that I want to show you right now. This is a very, very disturbing stuff. These people are in GA. Okay, this footage was found by Real Muck-Hacker, and it's showing numerous people who are not citizens, but they are registered to vote. Let's get into it.
We come from a company that is dedicated to registering Hispanic people so they can vote in upcoming elections. Are you already registered? We already voted. You already voted? Yes. Are you a citizen or?
No.
Have you already been registered or?
Yeah.
Are you a citizen or?
No.
Have you already been registered at work? Yes, we have. You've already been registered? Are you a citizen or not a citizen?
No es.
The apartment complex Elliott Norcross in Norcross, Georgia, is occupied primarily by non-citizens. We visited the complex to ask residents two questions. Are you a citizen, and are you registered to vote? Shockingly, 14% of respondents admitted to being non-citizens registered to vote.
Buenas, disculpe por molestar. Venimos con una organización que se dedica a registrar a la gente hispana para poder votar en las elecciones. ¿Ya la registraron a usted o?
Ya.
¿Ya? ¿Y fue en el trabajo o vinieron?
Vino
alguien a tocar? Ah, ok. Muchas gracias. Y oiga, ¿y usted es ciudadana o? No. ¿Ya la registraron en el trabajo o en un lado?
Bueno, sí, nos dijeron, pero
¿Ya se registró?
yo creo que sí.
¿En el trabajo?
Ajá, sí.
Oh, ok. ¿Usted es ciudadana o no es ciudadana? No es. ¿Ya los han registrado en el trabajo ustedes?
Sí, ya.
Ah, ¿ya los registraron?
Ya.
Disculpe, es que no la oigo muy bien por el aire. ¿Ya los registraron?
Sí, ya.
¿Y usted es ciudadana o no es ciudadana?
No.
¿No es?
No.
Venimos con una compañía que se dedica a registrar a la gente hispana para poder votar en las elecciones. ¿Ustedes están registrados?
Nosotros ya votamos, que
¿Ya votó?
sí.
¿Usted es ciudadana o...?
No.
¿Y usted ya está registrado? ¿Se registró en el trabajo o algo así?
No. Sí,
¿Ya se registró en el trabajo? Oh, okay.
Sorry, I think they're running the same clips again. This is absolutely crazy. And you know what? Actually, is that a new one? Oh, yeah, there are some new ones. Here, let me just play the rest of this. Let's just start from here.
¿De dónde viene usted?
De Honduras.
¿Usted ya la registraron en el trabajo o aquí han pasado a registrar o
Ya.
ya?
Ya.
¿Usted es ciudadana o no es ciudadana? ¿No es? ¿Son ciudadanos o...?
No, 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 no.
Muchas gracias. Dios los bendiga.
Tú me estás diciendo que si somos ciudadanos, no. Somos ilegales.
Oh.
Pero estamos establecidos en este país y sin nosotros este país no valiera ver, ¿me entiendes? Porque somos los mejores trabajadores que puede tener Estados Unidos.
According to Migration Policy Institute, approximately 339,000 non-citizens live in Georgia. If the 14% statistic holds true statewide, over 47,000 non-citizens would be registered to vote. For context, Joe Biden won the state of Georgia by just under 12,000 votes in the 2020 election. Based on our findings, the integrity of the 2024 election is in great jeopardy.
Oh man. As you can see on the screen, it was brought to you by the Oversight Project. If you wanna follow those guys, they're on. If you're on X, it's at Oversight PR. Gonna hit that follow, and then this gentleman's actually the one that found it. I'll go follow him as well. What does this thing say? Join us in the fight to save the American Republic. There you go. Man, that is wild. Now, obviously, it's been what's been being said. Rogan has talked about this so many times. He has said it so many times. So many different podcasters, Patrick Bet-David, Tim Pool, every single person you can think of, because it's so obvious. You know, and Patrick Bet-David even did a segment where he was showing the fact that it's not just you cannot vote if you're an illegal immigrant. It's not just like that across the board. Every state is different. Some states, if you have a work permit, you can vote. You know, it's this is crazy that this is happening. That they're able to just get registered like that right away. And who's registering them? It's people who are eager to get more voters. And what election is coming about right now? Who's in the election right now? This has been the plan the entire time. I mean, really look at it. Really look at it. Kamala Harris, this entire time, she was the border czar. No matter what people say, there is video of so many people in mainstream media calling her that. And then after Biden drops out, everybody's saying that she was never that, because they don't want her to have to take responsibility for what's going on at the border, because it looks absolutely terrible. But think about it. She was in charge. She did let it all slip. 50 million people did come in. And then the whole time, for years, everybody's been able to see what Biden looks like. Everybody's been able to see how he acts, how he falls, how he trips, how he stumbles, how he falls asleep, how he can't finish sentences. Everybody's been seeing it for years. And now, all of a sudden, Tucker Carlson just interviewed a senator. He said he could see it for years. He had a situation with his wife where his wife was saying, his wife told Biden who she was, and then minutes later, he came and asked again. So they knew. Senators, vice president, everybody around him knew. And now, all of a sudden, he drops out. And exactly what Kamala Harris did is now benefiting her towards running for president. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. This lady's worse than Hillary Clinton. I didn't even think that was possible. I was giving her the benefit of the doubt because she's a little black on Tuesdays when she feels like it. I was giving her the benefit of the doubt. I was like, she's a little black. It's fine. You know? Nope. This is terrible. This is so shisty. Do you know how bad something has to be in politics for it to be shisty? Shisty is what you call a guy who's willing to rob his friends. This is crazy what she's done here. And obviously she didn't do it alone. I don't want to paint it like as if she's the devil. She didn't do it alone. She did it with a bunch of people. There's many people. Like I said, Tucker Carlson talked to a senator. That senator knew. That senator could have easily got on a platform and told everybody his exact experiences. He had another experience where he was on the phone with Biden and he could clearly tell that Biden was reading from a script. So that means that you were on the phone with the president. He's telling you something that has to get done and somebody wrote him the script. Which means, does he even know what he's talking about? Is he the one that even had the thoughts in the conversation? The thing that had to happen? Is he the one that even orchestrated it to begin with? Or did somebody else? Whoever's writing the script. Whatever. That aside. She didn't do this on her own. But it's 100% benefiting her right now. And again, if I go back to this video, just to be completely transparent, it does say that a staggering 14% of the non-citizens spoken to admitting to being registered voters, right? 14%. It's not that much. But once we get into the millions, because we all know how many people were let into the country, and we have no idea how many getaways there are. No matter what they tell you about the numbers of getaways, they don't know. That's why they're getaways. They have no clue. They didn't even see them get in. Or they ran and they just got away. It's both of those things. So we're talking about 14%, but when we're talking about 10 million people to 15 million people, 14% is a hell of a lot, especially when they're all indebted to Biden and now Harris. This is wild. This is absolutely wild. Again, I told you it was disturbing stuff. I find this very disturbing. The fact that well, you guys know everything. This is crazy. They're allowed. I've been covering this for so long, so I know everything from beginning to end. They come to the border. They're able to throw away their IDs. They're able to cross into the border. They get money, debit cards, bus rides, hotels, free meals. Some of them have to stay in shelters, whatever. Those shelters end up being schools and community centers, that places in Chicago and New York and California, that these areas of color, these urban neighborhoods actually need. They don't have to tell you who they actually are. They throw away all their identification. They get to enter the country. Their appointment for asylum or whatever, what have you, isn't for years. So they get to take up this space, and I don't mean to be mean in saying that, but you know what I mean. If they're in a hotel, they get to be there for years. They get to do all this for years. Chicago residents are talking about them having cars and firearms. New York is talking about how there's certain people that are part of a Venezuelan gang and they're smuggling firearms into the shelters. They're recruiting people who are in the shelters. The gang is growing. They're responsible for beating up the cop. All of this. And you're like, why? And I was saying it before. Why would New York put up with this? And I know it's sanctuary and there's not much they can do. But they just keep on taking more people. Even to the point where Eric Adams is like, this is going to destroy the city. And he actually tried to stop busloads of them coming. And I believe it was the Supreme Court rejected what he said. They rejected him. So it's like he's trying to stop it. But for some reason, they just keep piling them on. And now let's just say 20% are going to be voters. 20% will be able to wiggle their way into registering to vote. And I mean, and let's face it, if they're inspired to go vote, all this registering the vote and everything, they could just walk in because voter IDs are racist. Man. Wow. No wonder the left despises law and order. And I'm not going to blanket statement it, but I kind of am, because they don't like law and order at all. Kamala Harris is talking about, we may just have to start ICE all over again. Why? Because they're doing their job? Because no person is illegal. That's her big belief. That undocumented immigrant is not an illegal immigrant is not a criminal, even though they literally broke the law coming into the country. in the cover of night most of the times. What? Oh my gosh. Very, very interesting stuff. I gotta look more into the oversight project, but I guess this is, oh, it's the Heritage Foundation. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. These are also the people, let me go to the page. I don't know these people or anything. They're also the people who figured out that the Thomas Matthew Crooks, they're the people who found out that he was actually being visited by somebody who was going back to DC all the time. So they actually do really good work. Wow, man. Phew. I don't even know what to say. Usually I have stuff like queued up, but this is just gross. I didn't even know what clips to put together, because I was like, I just want to get this out there, because some things live on X and they never break out of there. This needs to break out 100%. This is no good. And that's it. I was gonna say, and there's nothing I can tell you to do. There's nothing that I'd want you to do. You know, the only thing I could say is don't despise people who are illegal immigrants. If you know any or you see any, don't despise them. Despise the people who are letting them in. The people who are allowing things to be lawless. And I'm not saying do anything. Obviously not. Of course not. But vote for Trump. I'll say that. That's the one thing I'll say. You need to get out there and vote. This is not a time to be like, I'm not a part of this. I don't want to condone this system. It's two wings of the same bird, man. I'm just gonna stay out of it, man. No. You remember, for those people who don't want to vote at all, when you don't vote at all, that's submission. Like, yes, if you vote right or left, you are participating in the system. If you do not vote, you are submitting to whatever it is that they hand you. Don't forget that. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Other than that, I'm out.